Legal analyst Jeremy Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. And when we're talking about Donald Trump, there's always multiple factors to talk about.
Just a thing or 20 going on with him, right?
Yeah, always. So let's talk about this special hearing that happened right before the trial again today, and the judge not making any decision today. What do you think leads up to that?
I think this judge is. I don't know. I think there's a lot of frustration, and I think you could tell that with a lot of the language that he used. He at one point told the lawyers for Donald Trump, "Look, you guys are losing credibility here." The prosecution has got these 7 or 8 social media posts that they're saying violate the order. The judge questioned Trump's lawyers on that, and really, I think that everybody kind of sees the kryptonite that this issue is. I mean, you've got potentially Donald Trump, who may be kind of playing the throw me in the briar patch game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm daring you to send me to jail. I dare you to do it, or double dog dare you, put him in jail, and then he raises funds, and then the judge is the bad guy, and I think the judge senses that. I don't think the judge wants to do it. I think if there's going to be some type of contempt, I think it's going to have to be pretty bad. The judge may give him some of these to Donald Trump, a paper cut, if you will, of $1,000 fine here, $1,000 fine here, $1,000 fine here. Maybe make it progressive if it gets worse. I mean, really, a judge just doesn't like somebody not following their orders. The underlying reason for the order, I mean, it could be, Mr. Trump, show up here, be in your seat, please, by 5 minutes until 1. And then when somebody doesn't do that, the judge is kind of takes the attitude of, well, are you daring me to do something about this? So that's why I think the judge took it under advisement. Also because these things are legally complicated, right? It's the First Amendment. A lot of drama and a lot of frustration here. And again, this is not things that are necessarily germane to the trial, but it's just part of the circus.
Yeah, it's so true. And Jeremy, I got to ask you: would Donald Trump have to cross the line almost to maybe describe without saying a name of a juror, but like describe what they look like on social media? Would it have to go there?
In my mind, I think it has to be pretty bad for the judge to want to put the man in jail for all the reasons that we're talking about. There was one individual. I mean, Michael Cohen is one thing, right? That guy's out on the book trail. That guy's out and about blasting Donald Trump. And there was another lawyer too, though. His name was Pomerantz. His name came up, and I think he was a former Manhattan district attorney, and he was the subject of one of the social media posts. Judge at one point was like, "Okay, well, what about this guy? Right? This is not Michael Cohen." Trump's team responded, "Well, that's not a witness either in this case." So I think that the judge was wanting an explanation from that. At one point, the judge said something to the effect of, "Well, would you guys be willing to say under oath that he is not, or that Donald Trump, would he be willing to come and say under oath that he's not violated this?" Which judge can't do that. That would violate the Fifth Amendment. But it just shows the level of frustration. And again, we'll see if the judge finds that the gag order was violated at all. But this is a game of chicken. I mean, let's be clear. They're you know, these things are colliding here.
It's colliding because of the political ramifications that could come from this. As you were talking about, I mean, Trump would love to see this happen just for political reasons, for all of the papers. The media would be going absolutely bonkers on this if he was sent to jail for how long would being sent to jail, would it be 24 hours? What would it be, a day?
So I think it would be a pretty short period of time. Contempt is a funny thing. You can put somebody in custody for contempt, but contempt is his own criminal charge, and he would actually have another trial on the contempt charge sometime in the future, right? Sometime in the fall. I don't know that it would necessarily be a felony contempt, so it's not as serious as he's doing now. But sometimes Very rarely, but sometimes a judge, if somebody's having a problem in the courtroom, the judge can put him in the holdover, have the bailiff put him there. There's not a lot of due process that you can get going in that time, as far as appeals and writs of habeas corpus. And then when everybody comes down, judge brings him back out and says, just kidding, don't do this again. I would be very surprised to see something like that. I think that there's a lot of ramifications here too. And the judge is probably also measuring twice and cutting once too. I mean, the judge doesn't want to put Donald Trump in jail only to get appealed and lose. So the judge is almost certainly double checking the law, triple checking it, talking to his colleagues and clerks, and seeing if he himself is on solid footing with the original order to begin with.
Yeah, so sure. That's a great point to point out there as well. I also want to ask you today during this gag order hearing, the judge saying to Trump's defense attorney that you are losing your credibility here. And I just want to, of course, the jury was not there because this was before, but I just want to hear from you going forward as for Trump's defense attorney. Does he have to kind of maybe pivot on the way that he is reacting to this gag order going into the trial as well? How does that play out?
Man, this is a tough spot for these lawyers to be in. And this is why they charge what they charge, right? And they're in the high profile of the high profile case. And this is the pressure that comes with it. This almost certainly comes from, on one hand, trying to keep your client happy, and on the other hand, trying to do your duties to the court and being an officer of the court. Normally, it's not a lot of tension between those two duties, but you, as lawyers, we're officers of the court. We want to be credible to the judge. We are not allowed to make motions and arguments that are not based in a good faith understanding of the law. And I don't know that Mr. Trump's lawyers were doing that or not in this instance. But that's the judge basically saying out loud, I'm frustrated with you guys, and I think you guys know better than some of the arguments that you're making. And with Mr. Trump, there's always this, he's had a lot of lawyers in his lifetime. He's not gotten along with the vast majority of them. And that's probably because he puts a lot of pressure on them. And not all that pressure is, probably some of it is self-imposed too. I mean, you've got this job, you're in front of the whole nation, you're trying to do your best, and you're trying to advocate for a client who's pushing the limits on purpose. That is such a frustrating dynamic. I can't begin to tell you. So it's I mean, we all get to watch it play out in slow motion. But yeah, this thing is going to get a little nuttier before we're all through, at least on the gag issue.
And Jeremy, before we go, last question. Right after this interview, I'm going to play out the 3 minutes that Trump spoke right after court. But I just want to get your take. How hard is it for his defense attorney to, whatever happens in court, he knows that in some way he is going to speak about the issue. We see him come into court, he speaks to the media, leaves, speaks to the media. How hard is that for a defense attorney to say, all right, I just have to, grimace this for about 4 minutes and just hope he doesn't get too out of line?
Well, I've never had my clients do this. Then again, none of my clients have been the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party for the presidency of the United States. It's got to be pretty darn unique, especially with this gag order in place. And the judge has made it clear, look, Mr. Trump, you can come after me all you want publicly, bring it. Mr. Bragg is a public official, you can come after him, bring it. When it comes to all the other folks that make their living around here, please, can you not quite do that? And you can see with a lot of the social media that he has posted, you can see that, again, most of it's directed at Michael Cohen. And so the judge is again, everybody's kind of just sort of figuring this out. This is a first of its kind event all the way around. And like I said, that's why Mr. Trump's lawyers are making the big bucks. They're earning every nickel of it.
Yeah, so true. And Jeremy Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox once again. It's only day 2, everyone. So like you said, buckle up because anything can happen.
That's right. That's right. I used to have hair before all this. Yeah, and that's that bad.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. You take care.